Hello children, welcome back to Rini class. Today we are going to learn about how to write stories. You all love to read stories, you all love to write stories, I hope so. So today we are going to understand the different techniques and different tips of writing stories. So what's your story and how to write a story? We are going to understand that. Those who tell stories rule the world. Writing stories is a kind of magic. The more you read, the more you get ideas. Learning objectives. To think about story writing. When we have to write any story, first we have to think about the content and the plot. To talk about the important parts of your story. To think about the settings and the characters. To think about your story plans and openings. Frame about the settings, events and resolutions. Thinking about settings, first we'll talk about what is a setting. Now when we start to write a story, we have to see where the story all revolves around. That is the setting. A setting is where the story takes place. It could be anywhere. Example, cottage, a haunted house or even a park. Now what about the characters? 2 or 4 characters are enough for a short story. The characters must sound real. You don't use your friends' names in the story. Use your imagination and creativity. Use names that people don't use often. Describe what they look like, who they are, how they move, and maybe how they talk. Show how they feel using adverbs and adjectives. Like, for example, tired, angry, excitedly, happily, sadly, curiously. So these all we can use to enhance and the beauty of the story. Now some tips how to write stories. We have to use short direct sentences. Choose simple familiar words. Then develop interest to the readers. If the readers are not interested, they will not read the story, isn't it? Use past continuous tense to create or set a scene. We usually use past simple to tell a story, but if go back to something that happened earlier than something of past, we use past perfect. We have to use direct speech to quote someone. So first is we have to use short direct sentences. Choose simple familiar words so everybody can understand that story. Develop interest to the readers. Use past continuous tense to create or set a scene. We usually use past simple to tell a story, but if go back to something that happened earlier than something of past, we use past perfect. Use direct speech to quote someone. Some more tips are we have to use and write good or attractive title. So when the readers they read the title, they will get attracted to complete the story. All stories should have beginning, middle and end. Make sure first few sentences are interesting to hold the interest of readers. Proper punctuations. Include details about the settings, characters and their problems. Use some sentences to create atmosphere or environment. How we end the stories. We We have to explain the result of the events or shows how the problems have been solved. Endings usually bring the story to a full round circle. The final sentence is as important as the opening sentence. It usually sums up the theme or message. Storyboard. Storyboards help you to plan a story without writing it all out. Openings, settings, characters, problem, how it is solved, and the ending. This is the storyboard. First we have to think about the opening, then the setting, then some characters we have to think about, and some problem if they are facing that also, and how it has to be solved, and the ending. Now you are going to plan a great story, isn't it? So first we have to see the checklist. Title for your story, setting, where will it take place, characters, who will be in your story, what problem will they have, how will they solve the problem, how will the story end. So I hope you have understood the method and the procedure of writing stories. Now this is just an example given here. There is one story with the given clues. You have to fill it to make it a proper story. Old peasant, all his sons lazy, peasant dying, called all his sons, told them of a treasure hidden in the fields. To find it, they must dig for it. Then died. Sons dug every bit of the land, no treasure, showed the corn a very fine crop. Sons learned the lesson. What? So, this is just the clues given here. You have to complete the story. Now, I have given the title of the story. The title is The Hidden Treasure. Now, I have tried to complete the story. You can use your sentences even. A peasant had several sons, but they were all lazy and did not help him in the farm. One day the peasant became ill. He knew he was dying, so he called all his sons together and said to them, "A treasure lies hidden in my fields, but to find it you shall have to dig hard for it." The peasant died. At once his sons went to the fields and dug every bit of dry land, but they found no treasure. They were very sad. Soon the rains fell, and as the earth has been well dug, they sowed the corn. There was a very fine crop that year. The sons now learned what their father meant by treasure. The treasure could be got only by hard work. I hope the story has given you the message also that hard work really pays. The sons of the old peasant were very lazy, but they now understand the value of the hard work. So I hope the story is interesting. You liked it. Now one story you have to write it down. You have to complete it. I have given the story here. You have to complete it with the given clues. I hope you can see this and understand. A shepherd boy looked after a flock of sheep, cried Wolf. For fun, neighbors gathered in a large number. No wolf. The boy laughed at them. One day, Wolf really came. The boy cried for help. Neighbors did not believe him. The wolf killed the boy and his sheep. You have to even give a title to this story. Thank you, children. I hope you have understood. You need to complete your book exercises. You need to write down one story from which is given there in the clues in the book. Thank you, children. Stay safe. Stay happy.